Hey man, we there's somebody that's got to get traded ASAP, bro.
Who that?
We got to get Klay out of Texas, bro.
Hey, man.
We got to get Klay out of
Hey,
Texas, bro. He got to leave
hey.
the Mavs ASAP, bro.
Listen, man. I feel split on this one. Let me tell you why. Okay, let me just ask you this. Let me
First,
ask
first
you
you got to
this.
tell the people what's going on.
Okay. So this whole conversation came out to be a thing because Megan the Stallion, the Texas treasure who should be protected at all times and at all costs, came out and said, "Hey, you know what, man? This would hurt the hot girl, man. I'd have met this man family, and this boy was out here cheating on me, though, right?" So
Ain't
they
all
broke
she
up.
said. She said that she had to deal with all this man's emotions throughout the season and his
Yes,
mistreatment of her while he was going through said emotions because he was having that up and down season. She had to put up with all of that.
man. Listen, man, listen. And then the boy Klay says on his live that she cheated on him, right? That someone said, and I don't, I went down this rabbit hole, and I don't want to put out what's false, but alleged. So I'll say allegedly. I think that he said that he put an air tag in her purse and popped up on her while she was at dinner with somebody else. Like they basically said, no, the hot girl was doing hot girl ish, bro. And so my thing is that I don't know if both things can be true. If both things are true, I think that absolves Klay, right?
Now, allegedly, I heard that she asked him for an allowance because he was an NBA player. And he said ever since she asked for that, then he wasn't, that's when the relationship went sour for him. The other alleged thing that I heard was that he told her, like, look, I'm not trying to be monogamous. That he told her up front.
I think that so there's a couple things that I think that's interesting too. Clay said though, man, he spent $4 million on her. He said that'll never. He said he'll never be in a relationship again. Now, when he say 4 million, I know that they bought a house. I don't know that he gave her 4 million. If he just said I spent 4 million dating her, whatever, whatever, though, right? But I also think this is my thing. All right. If you've been billed, when you say this is my thing, because that almost pissed me off just thinking about that. When you say, "Hey, because you're NBA, if you giving me an allowance," like that to me, that sounds like how the girl Young Miami was on an allowance with the boy Diddy, right? And then it's just like I understand that Diddy has the most money, right, than her. But I guess I'd imagine that you got your own ends, right? You got your own money. So my thing is that why do you need an allowance? Because I'd imagine that if you're her, you had a certain lifestyle that you was maintaining on your own, though, right? So what does being with Klay? How does that change that lifestyle that you were already maintaining? I thought, if anything, that makes them from a money wise not equals, but she wouldn't feel like she's having to take care of somebody else who's a, let's just say, for example, all right, if Megan the Stallion, if you and I, as if we were single, she got us on bread, right? So she would be up. I couldn't maintain her lifestyle. So if she want to do something lavish like that, she'd have to look out for the boy, though, right? So I get that though, right? But my thing is that if you already got it, then what's the point of you saying I need some kind of allowance on this? It's not looking good for the hot girl though, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's ongoing because, like I said, more details is coming out. It's gonna get messier and
Now,
messier.
it is. Now, let me tell you the one thing that I think that's crazy. One of the things I think that is interesting, though, man, is that you got some people who are not everybody is an NBA fan, right? So to some people, though, bro, they were like very casual on Clay. Like some people were like, I see some people on TikTok like, he got some kind of nerve. He wasn't even popping until she wound up linking up with him. And I'm thinking, like, wait a minute now, bro. Y'all don't you could be so casual that you're talking crazy. And then I looked at Klay's resume, right? You run through Klay's resume, he does look like he has a type, and she looks like she's not his type, right? He did so. Here's what's funny. He also, from what I understood, dated Coco Jones, right? She's getting ready to marry Donovan Mitchell, who we talked about, and it was a short-lived relationship or whatever. But those two look like they're more of the exception of what he typically goes for, right? Impressive. Listen, Klay may have a resume that he might need to step to the carpet if we're talking about Bow Wow, Nick Cannon. You might even argue that Klay's is more impressive. Here's the question that I have for you though, Ace Kennedy. I know that we talk about double standards, but do you think that women look at other women's resumes the way that men look at that? Like we look at, I'm telling you about Klay. We talk about Nick Cannon. We talk about Bow Wow. And we think like, man, that is a mighty impressive resume. But do you think that women look at other women and they say, "Oh, you dated this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy," and they think, "Dang, that is pretty impressive."
Probably not, because women are so private and they don't want you to know who's on their resume. I don't think they look at that as a badge
Mm.
like we do. So no, that unfortunately is just going to stay the standard of what we look at as far as double standards for the classic men versus women trope. So I don't think so.
I think that it is one of those things that I do believe interesting because people are now calling into question. They run it through my girl Megan's whole dating history as far as everybody known, bro. The ones that were the ones that were more public or the alleged ones, right? And they run it through Klay's. And like I said, when I'm looking at the comparison, right? And I'm thinking that, all right, well, you know what? I'm looking at Klay's, and as a guy who is very, it seems like Klay is very comfortable with being the bachelor, though, right? I think that he could be a lifelong bachelor, and if that's the route he want to go, then that is all fine, though, right? I think that, but then it's like when you look at Megs, and she has some guys, and I think that she were like celebrity guys, and she's at least allegedly had some relationships with and everything like that. And I guess when you look at the number of guys and how long you think Meg's been popping now for what 7, 8 years now, and so you think that within 7, 8 years, if you got this resume built in 7 to 8 years, though, bro, and Klay's resume goes back, he's been in the league for 10 plus 12 years though, right? And so I don't know, man. It for some reason it doesn't look as, maybe to my male eyes, Klay's resume I think doesn't look the same as Meg's resume, regardless of what high profile guys Meg has dated though, bro.
I mean, it's just unfortunately these relationships are more public than anybody else. So that's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Them boys, they put it out there like they can be doing the verses.